the only WNBA athlete that landed on the list. So that means Angel Reese was down somewhere below 10 million bucks. All right. In fact, they do tell us who is number 2 among sports related, like actual team oriented female athletes. Number 2 is Sabrina Ionescu. But as you can imagine, Caitlin Clark was first.
Only one WNBA player made the cut. Out of the top 15 highest paid female athletes in the world for 2025, only one plays professional basketball in America. And if you've been following the narratives pushed by certain corners of sports media, the name might surprise you, because it's not who they've been telling you matters most.
Together, money is pouring into women's sports, with athletes in basketball, hockey, soccer, softball, and volleyball reaping the rewards. But the top tier of the world's highest paid female athletes is dominated by tennis, and it has been for decades. The 15 top female athletes in 2025 include 10 tennis players, up from 9 last year, a pair of golfers. Damn, female golfing pays some money.
$16 million. That's what Caitlin Clark earned in 2025, landing her at number 6 among all female athletes globally. And here's the kicker. Only $119,000 of that came from her actual WNBA salary and bonuses. The rest, pure endorsements. While her league salary barely covers a decent car payment, corporate America is writing checks that dwarf what the W can offer her. Tennis still dominates this list with 10 of the top 15 spots, which makes sense given decades of prize money infrastructure. But among team sport athletes, Clark stands completely alone at the top.
Down here, the top 15 earned is an estimated $249 million this year from prize money, salaries, bonuses, and endorsements. It's up 12%. All 15 earned at least $10 million versus 11 last year and 6 in 2023. The $10.1 million cutoff to crack the list is up from $6.7 million last year.
Sabrina Ionescu came in second among WNBA players, falling just short of the $10 million threshold needed to crack the top 15. That's the cutoff that jumped from $6.7 million in 2024 to $10.1 million this year, a nearly $4 million increase in the minimum just to make this list, which means Angel Reese didn't make it. A'ja Wilson didn't make it. The league's reigning MVP, the player with a signature shoe deal with Nike, the dominant force in the paint who led her team to a championship, couldn't reach $10 million in combined salary and endorsements. Think about what that reveals about the actual market value versus the perceived importance certain media outlets have been pushing.
Case for the skier, Aline Gu, and most of these is from endorsements. Some of the tennis, Coco had $8 million, Sabalenka, $15 million, Simone Biles, $11 million, almost all from endorsements.
The gap between Clark and the next WNBA player is massive. We're talking about a difference of at least $6 million, possibly more depending on where Ionescu actually landed. That's not a slight edge in marketability. That's a canyon-sized difference in how corporations view their ability to move products and connect with consumers. And this happened in year 1. Clark's rookie season, playing on a team that hadn't made the playoffs in years, in a market that's not New York or Los Angeles. Indianapolis, a mid-sized Midwest city that suddenly became must-see TV because of one player.
Golf's most lucrative endorsement deal is New Balance. Man, New Balance got all kinds of athletes on their commercials now. I'm like, wow. It ain't your dad's walking shoe no more, I don't guess. Baker Tilly, Bose, Head, Rolex, Mercedes-Benz, Chase Bank for golf. Let me just come down here. Clark missed 70% of the Indiana Fever's games during the WNBA season as she struggled with injuries, but it was another record year off the...
Let's break down who's paying her. Nike announced Clark as a signature athlete in August, with a full collection coming in 2026. That puts her alongside Aja Wilson and Sabrina Ionescu as active WNBA players with signature sneakers. But the Nike deal is just the foundation. Gatorade has her in national campaigns. State Farm built entire commercial series around her. Wilson Sporting Goods created special edition Caitlin Clark basketballs that sold out immediately every single time they dropped. Panini America signed her for trading cards, Gamebridge, Xfinity, Hy-Vee grocery stores, and most recently, Stanley joined the roster. That's not a typical endorsement portfolio. That's the kind of brand partnership lineup you see with transcendent athletes who cross over into mainstream American culture. These aren't niche sports brands trying to reach WNBA fans. These are massive corporations betting that Clark can sell products to people who've never watched a single women's basketball game.
Ionescu falling just short. So if you are to believe what this says, that means Ionescu was somewhere maybe just under the $10 million mark for a WNBA player, which is interesting. That means Angel Reese did not make the cut in the top two at all. So that's interesting.
The timing matters here. This list captures 2025 earnings, which means it reflects the first full year of Clark's professional contracts. Her college career at Iowa ended with that NCAA championship loss to South Carolina in April 2024. She got drafted by the Fever immediately after, and within 12 months, she went from $11 million in off-court income to $16 million. That $5 million jump came from existing deals ramping up to full value and new partnerships coming online. The Nike signature shoe hasn't even launched yet. When that drops in 2026, we're likely looking at another significant increase in her total earnings. The trajectory isn't slowing down, it's accelerating.
Announced the Clark as the latest signature athlete with a new signature logo, collection of sportswear and apparel, and a signature sneaker to debut in 2026. She joined fellow Nike athletes Aja Wilson and Ionescu as active WNBA players with signature sneakers. Clark's other sponsors include Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Panini America, that's trading cards, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Gamebridge, and Lilly.
Compare this to the tennis players dominating the top of the list. Coco Gauff leads everyone at $31 million, with $8 million coming from prize money and $23 million from endorsements. Aryna Sabalenka, at number 2, earned $30 million total, with $15 million in prize money. These athletes compete in a sport with established global infrastructure, major network television deals, and generational wealth flowing through the system. Clark is building comparable endorsement value in a league that struggles to fill arenas outside of her games, in a league where the average salary is around $130,000. In a league that just negotiated a new media rights deal that some players publicly criticized as inadequate. She's transcending the limitations of her league's economic reality through pure individual marketability. So what does this actually mean for the WNBA and for the narratives we've been fed about who matters most in women's basketball? Because the money doesn't lie. Corporate America votes with dollars, and they've made their choice overwhelmingly clear. First, let's address the elephant in the room. For months, certain media personalities and social media accounts have been pushing the narrative that Angel Reese is just as important to the WNBA's growth as Caitlin Clark. That the rivalry between them is what's driving interest. That Reese's personality and her connection to specific demographics makes her equally valuable from a business perspective. This list obliterates that argument. It's not even close. We're talking about a difference of at least $6 million, possibly more. That's not a rivalry in marketability. That's a hierarchy. Reese has endorsement deals. She's making money beyond her WNBA salary. but she couldn't crack 10 million total in a year when that threshold represented the bottom of the top 50. Meanwhile, Clark is sitting comfortably at 16 million, and that's before her signature shoe launches. The gap isn't narrowing, it's widening. Second, think about what this means for A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP, the finals MVP, the player who actually won the championship, and she's got a signature Nike shoe that's been on the market. She plays in Las Vegas, a major entertainment market. She's been the face of WNBA excellence for years. And she didn't make this list either. That's not a criticism of Wilson's game, or her importance to basketball. She's legitimately one of the greatest players in WNBA history. But it reveals something crucial about the difference between being the best player and being the most marketable athlete. Wilson is the better player right now by most basketball metrics. Clark is the more valuable commercial property, by a margin that's almost hard to comprehend. Those are two different things, and the market has spoken definitively about which one corporations care about more. Third, consider the Sabrina Ionescu situation. She plays in New York, the largest media market in the country. She's got the Liberty Championship from She's appeared in high-profile events like the three-point contest against Steph Curry. She's got major brand partnerships, and she still fell short of the top 15 by coming in just under 10 million. New York media market, championship pedigree, creative marketing moments. And it wasn't enough to match what Clark is doing in Indianapolis. That tells you something about the unique nature of Clark's appeal. It's not just about market size or team success, or creative brand activation. There's something about her specifically that resonates with mainstream American consumers in a way that transcends traditional sports marketing logic. Now let's talk about what happens next. Because this is year one. Clark is 23 years old. She's going to get better as a player, which will only enhance her marketability. The signature Nike shoe launches in 2026, which typically comes with significant guaranteed money and royalty potential. More brands are going to want in as they see the returns these early partners are getting. Her WNBA salary will increase, though it'll remain a tiny fraction of her total earnings given the league's salary structure. We're potentially looking at Clark becoming the first WNBA player to earn $25 million in a single year, from combined salary and endorsements, maybe even $30 million, if the shoe performs well and she adds a few more major partnerships. That would put her in the conversation with top tennis players and golfers as one of the highest earning female athletes in the world, period. And all of this is happening while she plays in a league that pays her $119,000. Think about that absurdity. The gap between what the WNBA can afford to pay her and what she's actually worth to corporate America is so massive it almost breaks the model of how professional sports typically work. Usually your league salary is the foundation and endorsements are the bonus. For Clark, the league salary is a rounding error, and the endorsements are everything. This creates an interesting dynamic going forward. Does Clark have any financial incentive to care about WNBA business decisions? The league could double her salary, and it wouldn't materially change her life. The new media rights deal that some players are upset about. Clark's going to be fine regardless, because her money comes from Nike and Gatorade, and State Farm, not from league revenue sharing. She's economically independent from the WNBA's success or failure in a way no other player is. That could actually be healthy for the league's growth. Clark doesn't need to be diplomatic about business decisions she disagrees with, because her income isn't threatened by speaking out. She's got leverage that other players simply don't have. If she wanted to push for changes to how the league operates, she could do it from a position of financial security that's unprecedented in WNBA history. But it also means the league needs her more than she needs the league. And that's a weird power dynamic for a rookie to have with a professional sports organization. The WNBA benefits enormously from Clark's star power driving ratings and attendance. But Clark's brand value exists somewhat independently of whether the WNBA succeeds or fails as a business. She could retire tomorrow and still make millions annually from existing endorsement deals. One more thing worth noting. The absence of international players from this conversation. The WNBA has talented players from around the world, but none of them are cracking these earnings lists. That's partially because international players often have less access to American corporate sponsorships, but it's also because the truly elite international players can make comparable or better money playing overseas without dealing with the WNBA's salary restrictions and travel schedule. Clark's earning power is specifically American. These are American brands paying her to reach American consumers. That's the market that matters most for WNBA growth. And it's the market where Clark has proven she can move the needle like no other player in league history. So where does this leave us? With a very clear answer to a question that some people have tried to make complicated. Who is the most valuable player in the WNBA from a pure business perspective? It's Caitlin Clark, and it's not particularly close. The gap between her and everyone else is measured in millions of dollars and mainstream cultural impact. You can argue about who's the best player. You can debate who deserves more recognition for their on-court achievements. But you cannot argue about who corporations believe can sell products and drive consumer engagement. They've voted with their checkbooks, and the results are definitive. $16 million for Clark. Less than $10 million for literally everyone else in the league. That's not media bias. That's not narrative manipulation. That's just math. And the math says that 1 year into her professional career, Caitlin Clark has already separated herself from every other WNBA player in terms of marketability and earning power, by a margin that would have seemed impossible just 2 years ago. The question now isn't whether she's the most valuable player. The question is how much bigger that gap is going to get. So let me know what you think. Does this settle the debate about who's really driving WNBA growth? Or do you think there's something this list doesn't capture about other players' value? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this conversation going.